The recently published CIA archives, which contain about 13 million pages of declassified documents, suggest, in addition to the monitoring of UFO sightings in the early 1970s, that American intelligence agents, with the help of the legendary parapsychologist Ingo Swann, tried to find out what was happening on the planet Jupiter. Stargate Project was the code name of the U.S. Army's secret unit, founded in 1978 in Fort Meade, Maryland by the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, and SRI International, California subcontractor, to investigate the potential of paranormal phenomena in actions of internal and military intelligence. Ingo Douglas Swann was the man behind the Stargate Project. He was an alleged parapsychologist, artist, and author known for being the co-creator, along with Russell Targ and Harold Puthoff, of remote viewing. The idea of remote viewing control was a process where viewers could see a particular location without having anything beyond their geographic coordinates, and was developed and tested by Puthoff and Targ, with CIA funding. The recently published 13-page document on the official CIA website tells of one of those sessions with Swann in which he allegedly transferred his consciousness to the planet Jupiter. The experiment was controlled by Harold Puthoff and, according to the report, during the Swann experiment, using the power of his thought he visited the distant planet. The experiment is dated April 27, 1973. According to Swann, in the space to the right of the room he could see Jupiter, located many millions of miles away. He could see how bright it was with a blinding light. He could look at him from every direction of his mental gaze. At first everything was seen in miniature and then everything suddenly expanded. These visions are inside of me and then outside. There is a yellowish tone in space, and if you see dark objects through it, are other moons of contrasting colors or densities. It seems to me that there are 17, some still unknown to Earth scientists, much closer to Jupiter, and also arises the feeling that some of them have been and are being generated by the conclusive and volcanic action inside," said Swann, according to the document. The parapsychologist also saw rings around Jupiter, but he said they were not as noticeable as those of Saturn. Later in 1979, the Voyager space probe confirmed the existence of the Jupiter rings. However, the hypothesis of its existence was presented by the Soviet astronomer Sergei Vyseksvyetsky in the 1960s. Perhaps it was Swann who provided the CIA with information about ancient civilizations on Mars. The Stargate project was launched in 1970, after the CIA discovered that the Soviet Union would be spending up to 60 million rubles a year for psychotronics research. This conclusion was made by the CIA based on a book published by two journalists from Canada, Sheila Ostrander and Lynn Schroeder, who visited the Soviet Union in the early 1970s. The authors continue to publish books on parapsychology. After nearly 3 decades, the CIA concluded that the Stargate program did not yield tangible results and its leaders were suspected of adjusting data in various experiments to their goals. Later it became public that Harold Puthoff, who, according to his own statements, also had the ability to remote view, obtained it after reaching the highest level of illumination in the classification of the Church of Scientology. Another member of this church is Ingo Swann, who for his cooperation with Scientology was expelled from the American Association of Parapsychologists, ASPR, in 1972. Some intelligence experts argued that Puthoff and Swann's actions were part of the Church of Scientology's so-called White Snow operation, which aimed to introduce 5,000 agents to a variety of government agencies, including the U.S. Armed Forces.